Welcome to Revenge Return, where love is never simple, revenge is never accidental, and every story unfolds with secrets, betrayal, and emotional twists you won't see coming. This is where the story begins. The Sunday dinner table was set with Mom's finest china, roast beef cooling in the center while my family discussed my life like I wasn't sitting right there. "We've listed the Malibu property," Dad said, cutting his meat with surgical precision. "Christina at Platinum Realty says we should get at least $8.5 million, possibly more if we find the right buyer." I set down my fork carefully. "You listed what?" "The beach house, Rachel. Don't be dense." My sister Lauren was scrolling through her phone, probably browsing yacht catalogs again. "It's wasted on you anyway. You're never there." "That's because I work in New York." "Exactly." Mom chimed in cheerfully. "You're 3,000 miles away. The house just sits empty while property values soar. We're simply being practical about family assets." Family assets. The beach house I'd purchased 4 years ago for $4.2 million, cash, using bonuses from my position as managing director at Goldman Sachs. "Who gave you permission to list my house?" I asked quietly. Dad waved dismissively. "Rachel, we're your parents. We don't need permission to manage family property. Besides, the money will be split evenly. You'll get your share." "My share of my own house?" "Our house," Lauren corrected, not looking up from her phone. "Technically, it's family property. You just happen to live there sometimes." I'd purchased the property in 2019 under my own name. Sole owner. No mortgage. The deed was crystal clear. But I'd made the mistake of giving my family keys when I'd first bought it, suggesting they could use it for vacations. Apparently that meant they now thought they owned it. "I'm splitting my share with Jeremy anyway," Lauren continued. "We're putting a down payment on a yacht. 42-footer, gorgeous craftsmanship. Your beach house money should cover it perfectly. Lauren's portion will be approximately $2.1 million, Dad explained as if he'd already done the math. Your mother and I will take $2.1 million as well. That leaves you with $4.3 million, Rachel. More than enough for a nice apartment in Manhattan." They divided up my property without asking. Decided my share of my own house. Planned spending my money before the sale even happened. "When did you list it?" I asked. "This morning. Christina has showings scheduled for Tuesday and Thursday. She's very optimistic, says beachfront properties are selling in days right now." Mom beamed. "This could solve everyone's financial issues." "What financial issues?" "Well, your father's retirement account took a hit last year. And Lauren's business." "My boutique is an investment," Lauren interrupted. "It's going to be huge. I just need capital to expand." Lauren's boutique had been about to be huge for 3 years while bleeding money monthly. Dad's retirement had taken a hit because he'd made spectacularly bad investment decisions. And Mom wanted a kitchen remodel she couldn't afford. So they decided to sell my house. I pulled out my phone, texting my real estate attorney. "Family listed my Malibu property without authorization. Need immediate cease and desist to Platinum Realty. Also need you at the property Tuesday morning for the scheduled showing. James on it. This is going to be memorable." "Rachel, put that phone away," Dad scolded. "We're having family time." "I'm texting my attorney." The table went silent. "Your attorney?" Mom's voice climbed an octave. "Why do you need an attorney?" "Because you're attempting to sell property you don't own." "Don't be dramatic," Dad said. "The house is in the family. We all have claim to it." "No. I have claim to it. I'm the sole owner on the deed. I purchased it with my money. You have zero legal rights to that property." Lauren finally looked up from her phone. "That's not true. We've been using the house for years. We have keys. We've stayed there dozens of times." "That makes you guest. Not owners." "Dad said when you bought it that it was for the whole family," Lauren insisted. "I have texts where you said we could use it anytime." "Using it and owning it are different things. You can't sell a house you don't own." "We'll see what Christina says," Dad said confidently. "She's handled multimillion-dollar properties for 30 years. I'm sure she understands family property laws better than you do." I smiled. "I'm sure she does." Tuesday morning I flew to Los Angeles. James met me at the Malibu house at 9 a.m. We were early, the showing wasn't until 10, but we wanted to be prepared. The cease and desist was delivered yesterday, James said, reviewing documents on his tablet. Christina Williamson at Platinum Realty acknowledged receipt but claims she has authorization from the property owners, your parents, to proceed with the sale. Based on what? A handwritten note from your father claiming he has power of attorney over your assets. He absolutely does not. I know. I've already filed a fraud complaint with the California Real Estate Board. She could lose her license for this. At 9:47, a black Mercedes pulled up. Christina Williamson stepped out, mid-50s, impeccably dressed, radiating the confidence of someone who'd sold hundreds of luxury properties. My parents and Lauren pulled up right behind her. Rachel. Mom looked flustered. What are you doing here? It's my house. Where else would I be? Christina approached with her professional smile firmly in place. Miss Stevens, I'm Christina Williamson from Platinum Realty. Your parents have engaged my services to illegally list property you don't have authority to sell, James interrupted. He handed her his business card. James Chin, real estate attorney. I represent Miss Stevens, the sole legal owner of this property. You received our cease and desist yesterday. Christina's smile faltered. Mr. Stevens provided documentation showing he has power of attorney. He provided a fraudulent document, James said flatly. Miss Stevens never granted power of attorney to anyone. Your due diligence should have included verifying the deed of record, which clearly shows Rachel Stevens as sole owner. Now wait just a minute, Dad started. Mr. Stevens, you claim to have legal authority to sell this property. You don't. That's fraud. Ms. Williamson, you're facilitating that fraud. That's a violation of your real estate license and potentially criminal. Christina pulled out her phone, rapidly scrolling. Her face went pale. The deed. The county records show Rachel Stevens as sole owner, James finished. Purchased October 2019 for $4.2 million cash. No co-owners, no liens, no encumbrances. Just Miss Stevens. Christina, this is a misunderstanding, Dad said desperately. The house was purchased for family use. Rachel agreed. I agreed you could vacation here. I never agreed you could sell it. I turned to Christina. Did you verify ownership before listing this property? Your father provided documentation. Fraudulent documentation. Did you check the actual deed? Her silence was answer enough. You listed an $8.5 million property without verifying the owner, James said. That's gross negligence at minimum. You have potential buyers scheduled to view property you have no authority to show. Miss Stevens could sue you for damages. The real estate board will almost certainly investigate. Rachel, please, Mom said, tears starting. We're family. We can work this out. You tried to sell my house without asking me. You divided up the money, planned how to spend it, and listed the property. At what point was I supposed to be consulted? We thought you'd understand, Lauren said. The house is wasted on you. It's mine. That's all that matters. My house. My money. My decision. A silver Bentley pulled up to the curb. A couple in their 60s emerged, clearly wealthy potential buyers. Is this the 10 a.m. showing? The man asked Christina. Christina looked like she might be sick. I'm so sorry, Mr. and Mrs. Zhang. There's been a complication. The property isn't actually available for sale. Not available? Mrs. Zhang frowned. Your listing says it went live Sunday. We flew in from San Francisco specifically for this viewing. The listing was posted without proper authorization, James explained. The actual property owner, Miss Stevens here, never agreed to list the house. It was a mistake. A mistake. Mr. Zhang's voice took on an edge. We've wasted time and money on a property that isn't even for sale? You can sue Platinum Realty for that, James offered helpfully. Fraudulent listing, misrepresentation, wasting buyers' time. Standard damages are typically tens of thousands. The Zhangs turned to Christina, who looked like she wanted to disappear. After the Zhangs left, promising to contact their attorney, Christina turned to my family with barely controlled fury. You told me you owned this property. You provided false documentation. I have 3 more showings scheduled this week with serious buyers. Do you have any idea how much damage this does to my reputation? We thought, Dad started. You thought you could sell someone else's house and I wouldn't verify ownership? I've been in this business for 30 years. This is exactly the kind of fraud that destroys careers. We didn't mean. I'm filing a complaint against you with my legal team. Fraud, misrepresentation, wasting my time and my client's time. You'll be hearing from my attorney. She drove away, tires screeching slightly. My family stood in my driveway, the beach crashing behind us, the reality of what they'd done finally settling in. Rachel, we didn't think. Mom tried. You didn't think I'd find out? You didn't think listing someone's house without permission was illegal? What exactly didn't you think about? We needed the money, Lauren said quietly. Dad's retirement is in trouble. My boutique is failing. We thought you'd help. Help is when you ask. This is theft. We're family. Dad's voice rose. What's yours should be available to family in need. Then why didn't you ask? Why didn't you call me and say you needed financial help? Why go straight to illegally listing my property? Silence. Because you knew I'd say no, I answered for them. Because you knew I'd tell Lauren to close her failing boutique. I'd tell Dad to accept the consequences of his bad investments. So instead you tried to steal my house and divide up the money before I could stop you. What happens now? Mom asked weakly. James pulled out more documents. Miss Stevens is filing a police report for attempted fraud. The real estate board is investigating Ms. Williamson, who will likely countersue your family for damages to her reputation and business. You're facing civil and potentially criminal charges. Unless, I said, we reach an agreement right now. They looked at me with desperate hope. You return all keys to this property. You sign a legal document acknowledging you have zero ownership claim. You never contact Christina Williamson or any realtor about this property again. And you pay her $50,000 for damages to her business and reputation. $50,000. Dad spluttered. We don't have. Then take out a loan. Sell something. Figure it out. Those are my terms. Otherwise, James files everything and you deal with the legal consequences. They signed the documents that afternoon. All three of them in my lawyer's office, acknowledging zero claim to my property. The $50,000 to Christina came from Dad's actual retirement account. The one he'd claimed was depleted but somehow still had funds when threatened with legal action. Lauren's yacht dreams evaporated. Mom's kitchen stayed unremodeled. Dad's investments remained his problem. I changed all the locks on the beach house. 3 months later, Lauren's boutique finally closed. She got a job at Nordstrom learning what actual retail work looked like. Dad sent one email, we were wrong. I'm sorry. I kept it. But I didn't respond. Mom called once asking if we could move past this unpleasantness. I told her we could move past it when she understood that trying to sell someone's house wasn't unpleasantness. It was felony fraud. She hung up. The Malibu house is still mine. All mine. I visit it monthly now, making the trip from New York because it's worth it to sit on the deck and watch the ocean crash against rocks that don't belong to anyone but me. The for sale sign never went up. The family that tried to sell it doesn't have keys anymore. And the luxury realtor who didn't check the deed? She learned an expensive lesson about verifying ownership. Some houses aren't for sale. No matter who thinks they deserve them. Mine never was. And never will be.